It's time now to tackle the headline. And of course, boys, it's unfortunate, but it's got to be someone have their season over at this point. Now, let's take a look at the bottom 9 teams in the competition and tell me what they need as they look firmly towards next season. Now, the Western Bulldogs are just scraping in at this point, Ralphie, as
we'll give them a hall pass. We'll give them a league pass.
Still in the race. So we're cutting this off under the Bulldogs. Kick us off with Sydney. What do they need to make sure next season doesn't end up like this?
They need a key forward, and I don't think that Carlton should trade Harry Mackay, but if I'm Sydney, I'm throwing the absolute kitchen sink at him.
Absolutely.
I understand that he's not a player who churns out 23 games a year, but he's averaged 19 over the last 4 years before a couple of issues and depression this year. He kicked 49 goals last year, and he's won games off his boot, multiple games off his boot this year. I still think he's a premier forward in the competition. And if you're Sydney, he's in that right window. I love Joel Amani, but he doesn't play very often. And Logan McDonald kicks a lot of goals, but in that Ty Vickery mould, he doesn't crash enough packs. So Harry Mackay is my number one priority.
If they can't get those Carlton blokes, is Jamara any hope, do you think?
He's a hope for them. Scott Gallen did a deep dive on this bloke. They should be doing the deepest of all dives, I tell you what. There will be a book in Jamara and his season, and we also totally understand some of the behavioural and mental health problems.
Sure.
But I reckon we've just scraped the tip of the iceberg in terms of some of the things that have gone up that football club. And so you'd want to make a lot of calls to know that this is not a bloke who would make your season challenging from an off-field perspective next year.
And if it was all going to go well and he'd play in that form that we have seen him do, I mean, you'd take him in a heartbeat, wouldn't you? Now, Port Adelaide, it's going to look very, very different, not only in the coach's box, but potentially on the field for them, Macca. I think they could do with a lot at this point. Port.
Yes.
They're going to have a new man at the helm, of course, in Josh
There's a
Carr.
few things. There's a couple of signatures which would be really interesting, Naz and also Zach Butters. But, Ralphie, I think the charm offensive...
Oh, yeah, I like that.
The Josh Carr charm offensive needs to happen now. He's going to step in. We know he's going to step into a team that's really... They're not rebuilding, but they've got a lot of work to do with that list. So I think that's the thing that I'd be looking for with Port Adelaide.
So here's the thing everyone says, how do they get a Naz deal done if he wants to come? So you give away your next 10 years of draft picks. But then, if Zach Butters wants to leave next year, you match that free agency deal, you get those 10 years of draft picks back. And so there is a way in which you basically are not mortgaging your future if you have to give the next 3 years of draft picks or, multiple picks, of course, given they haven't got a first rounder this year.
Now, the Blues, Macca, they've got more issues than Reader's Digest, it seems, at the moment. But what are you doing there at the Blues with your Graham
Total game plan, overhaul, change. Let's blow it up and let's start again, because watching Carlton at the moment is the most labour-intensive thing you've ever seen. I'm exhausted watching it, and I just think, how would the Blues supporters be feeling? So they need a total game plan overhaul. As we said, we said earlier, that their defensive run out of the back, the back six is awful, and they've got to fix that, and they've got to fix that in a hurry. But they need faster ball movement as well.
I'd be asking about Bobby Hill. Now, again, you do a lot of due diligence
Bobby
there.
Hill?
Yeah, I know he's signed a new contract there, but if it is that he decides he wants a fresh change, there'll be clubs out there right now that are looking at Bobby Hill and saying, is he gettable? So, yeah, they will bring back a lot of speed in the likes of Jagger Hill, Elijah Hollands, Jagger Smith, Elijah Hollands, also... Sam Walsh and also Matt Cultural. So you bring those 4 players into your side.
Speed.
Yeah, maybe you bring in the likes of an Ollie Florent, and then all of a sudden you play a new game plan and you've got the building blocks to be able to exhilarate the need for speed.
What do you need if you're Melbourne, other than potentially a need to avoid the review of Sunday's game? They need a bit.
Isn't it remarkable? Carlton and Melbourne both play contest and defence. Both have got an old, out-fashioned game plan. Both have got coaches who've got leadership in spades but not able to really find the best way in. Both have got teams who should win games and then all of a sudden lose them. Both of them are, struggling in terms of their early picks. And so we all love Simon Goodwin. We all like him as a person. We love the fact that he's a premiership coach. But it's a tough decision, and maybe in the end it'll just be, OK, we move him on and we get fresh ideas. I don't begrudge him that decision, or I don't think it's easy, but that's the way it might eventually go.
Glenn, take us to Moorabbin. It feels like the Saints, I was going to say need a signature, of course, of Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera, especially after that result on Sunday. They almost need 2 signatures, don't they, with Tom De Koning as well? What are you doing if you're St Kilda?
Well, I think the Tom one might be done. I wish the Naz one were done, because you saw what he brings out to the St Kilda Football Club. So it's 3 words, isn't it? With a hyphen, Nasiah Wanganeen-Milera. 3 words again, Tom De Koning. So the 3-word signature, get them done now. And the Saints, if they get those guys in, Are they a flukish chance to, top 8 next year? Would you give them any hope, Ralphie?
No. At the start of the year, I wasn't sure if it was Nazai Wanganeen-Miller or Miller or Wanganeen. I've written that 2 words about 1 million times in so many trade discussions.
I bet you're getting it right now.
This year. Well, it's mostly I am.
Yeah.
Judge Tom Koning on his first 10 weeks of the year when he was superb. I understand it's outlandish money. He won't justify it, but they got to get some of those stars in, and maybe that will help him with a Naz Wanganeen-Miller as well, and the stars of the future who will see that some players are staying and coming to this football club.
John, we know the Bombers need a new fitness boss, of course, with Sean Murphy departing there. But what are you doing at Tullamarine? Well,
that's all I'm doing. I'm getting the absolute stars. So they can't get someone like Peter Burge, who's amazing at Hawthorn. If it costs them as much as it costs their senior coach, if it's an $800,000 person, whoever it might be, if it is Darren Burgess who's in contract, you just go and get that person in. Not only because he's the best, but also because he gives those players some confidence that, OK, we've got the best here. So their defensive structure at the round 1 next year, Jordan Ridley, Zach Reid, Ben Mackay, all of them who are basically done for the season, all of them have got massive recurrent injury problems now. Like, that sends shivers down the spine of those Essendon fans. Are we ever going to get these blokes right? That's a challenge.
Yeah,
now, not to dismiss the bottom 3, of course, but quickly take us through the last trio here. Macca, Richmond?
Well, I'll start with Richmond. More picks. They're just going to do it again. They've got more picks than the biggest building site in Melbourne, haven't they? They've just got so many picks. North Melbourne, they just need a defensive structure. Desperately need that. West Coast?
Sign up Harley Reid.
Or a miracle.
Yep, so you lobby, you push hard. There's a little bit of brinkmanship and you say, we're not going to pay $24 million. We're going to pay $18 million for Harley. If you want to go to St Kilda, who might be offering that money, go for your life. So you try and bluff them, and then if they say, no, he's going to go, you pay the money. But
I like that.
At some stage, whatever you pay Harley Reid, he will be worth that money many times over. He's going to be that good a player.
Well, there you go. If you're the bottom 9 teams, you've got no excuse now because Glenn and John have solved every single problem you've got, and all 18 teams will make the top 8 next year. That's it from us on Tackle the Headline. Of course, fantastic to have you with us. We'll see you next time.